Hello the vinyl community and YouTube, welcome to JorgenS, and tonight it is wall purchase night, or as we call it here in Sweden, valborgsmässoafton, where we lit some fire of all branches and something like that, and shoots fireworks and some barbecues and so on. A real cozy celebration of spring here in Sweden. And I thought it was a good time to do some vinyl and CD update for April. It's a really nice sunny spring day today, so it was a good time to do some vinyl shopping, which I also done today. So I've just gotten home from this month's flea market and thrift stores tour. So the month of April have been okay months. Not something in the vinyl section that sticks out or something like that, but okay, it's the first month in eternity where I can actually show more vinyl singles than full-length vinyls. So hopefully this might be a breakthrough for vinyl singles. And those records that I bought from the record fair, of course, will not be here because I have already shown them. So let's start it out with the vinyl singles. Very, very different style in all of these. And some of them are Swedish also, but I hope you can bear with that. Starting with some 70s classic. This is Clair, and what could be nicer from the album Back to Front that I've shown here before. Song that is not on my version of Back to Front, that is the European version, so I hope to find a version soon after where Clair is included. But now I have it on single anyway. Eric Clapton, not a big fan of him, but I like, of course, Tears in Heaven. This is then the original from the motion picture soundtrack Rush. I didn't know it was a soundtrack song actually, but really classic. Sade, Smooth Operator, the other side Spirit. This is Phil Collins from the Hello I Must Be Going album, a song that I actually never heard before, Through These Walls. And on the other side, Do You Know, Do You Care? From 1982. Stevie Wonder, That Girl, from Stevie Wonder's original Musicorium. And on the other side, All I Do, from the Hotter Than July album, from 1982. This also, I think. 82, yes. Here is a classic that I really wanted to have on single actually. This is George Benson and funk classic Give Me the Night. On the side Dinora Dinora. I really like Give Me the Night. It's a really funky song that always put me in a good mood. So really happy to find this single actually from 1980. Barry Manilow, Ready to Take a Chance Again, from a movie with Goldie Hawn and Chevy Chase that you can see. In Sweden this is called Tjejen som visste för mycket. I'm not too familiar with the original name on it, but I think it will stay right here. Mandy is on the other side. This is from 1978. Not a big Barry Manilow fan, but I like this song. And finally some EP with jazz, not all that often. Joe Williams and Count Basie with Harry Addison, George Duvivier, Freddie Green and Jimmy Crawford. They play Ain't Misbehavin', Baby Won't You Please Come Home, The One I Love Belongs to Somebody Else, and Honeysuckle Rose. I think this is 1950s recording. But the best thing about this is that Count Basie plays the organ. I'm always happy when I found Count Basie playing the organ, because it is so fantastic jazz. It is always when Count Basie is playing, but especially when he plays the organ. Swedish music. Carl-Anton, I've shown him 2 records with him before here at the blog, at the channel. This is a hit that he had in the 60s called Om maskros och tjärdoft och Kåk med kakelugn på vita bergen. This is ballads, Swedish ballads, and more from this fantastic balladeer. This is an EP with different songs from the 60s, and since many of you don't know what it says, I'm just showing this for many of you who know Swedish, but most of my subscribers are not Swedish, so I feel it's useless to rabble 4 songs that no one here will understand. I have the chance to actually do some blind buy of some cheap different vinyl singles, many easy listening and Swedish lager and so on. Only costed me 10 cents, so I thought, why not give some, check it out. I'm not a big fan of Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. I think that many of those sounds like Tijuana Taxi. Many songs sounds alike, but I felt, why not? I buy 3 singles with Herb Alpert. Could be fun to have, as I starting to enjoy easy listening very much. Sleeves are not all that perfect in any of these, but this is Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass with Spanish Flea and Cinco de Mayo. And Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass with El Garbanzo and May from, I guess, from the yellow Rolls Royce. And finally we have Mexican Road Race and Wade in the Water. And then we have this kind of old-time easy listening that I really not too fond of. German easy listening, you know, James Last, Frank Waldor, Max Greger, and so on. I really don't like that, and normally I would consider Werner Müller in the same category. But I felt like, why not? I give it a chance on this Werner Müller spielt instrumental hits. Guitar Boogie Shuffle, Bola, Monkey Cha-Cha and Rocky Violin. The side A with the Guitar Boogie Shuffle and Bola is pretty horrible, with traditional German easy listening style, with the drums sounding like they're sitting outside the hallway playing instead of in the studio. I really think that is horrible. But then I got pretty happy surprised by the B side, Monkey Cha-Cha and Rocky Violins, because here plays with the RIA's Tanzorchester, dancing orchestra, a much bigger orchestra than on the A side. And that one was really good. I really liked Rocky Violin. Is original composition by him, Werner Müller. So this one will stay for now anyway, for the B side only. Moby Dick, going into some 80s synth pop now, Swedish 80s synth pop. Moby Dick and the song From a Radio from 1988. And also, finally among the singles, thought it never will end. This was a blind buy also. This is Göran Hagvall with some songs from an album called Bee Gees bästa på svenska, Bee Gees best in Swedish. They have translated Bee Gees songs to Swedish, and I got real curious what this actually was, even though I had never heard of the singer. The Swedish version of Massachusetts and How Deep Is Your Love. How Deep Is Your Love is maybe one of Bee Gees' absolute best songs, so it's very interesting to hear how Vad är jag för dig sounds like. So let's move on to CDs, and the only CD single that I bought this month, Oasis, Little by Little, and She's Love from 2002, one of the final singles that Oasis released. And we have a band that I normally don't listen all that much to, but they've done some great songs. I like the album Little Creatures actually. But I felt like, why not? It feels good to have a compilation by Talking Heads. This is from 2004, this compilation, and contains Psycho Killer, Once in a Lifetime, Burning Down the House, Road to Nowhere, and She Was, and so on. It's good to have a compilation by Talking Heads. Another compilation with a band that it's not all that big as Talking Heads was. I've heard one song with this band and I liked the song very much, so I got very interested in give a try on the entire compilation by Redbone, who, if I'm not wrong, contains only Indian related members. Their biggest hit is Witch Queen from New Orleans that I really like, so good to have this compilation only for that. But they were really good. They mixed some Indian folk music with the commercial 70s pop rock, and the sound and arrangements are fantastic. So I got positively surprised by this one. Some records I bought today, just hours ago. Kylie Minogue, Aphrodite from 2010. All the Lovers is here. Pretty modern Kylie. Normally I'm not a huge fan of Annie Lennox as a solo artist. I think it's pretty boring. But I felt like I wanted to have her first solo album, Diva, from '92. Because that album contains two songs that I think is her absolute best songs from her solo career. Walking on Broken Glass and Precious. Then we have the first single, Wild, so it's a okay song. So it's going to be very interesting. Suede, Dogman Star, their second album. I have this one on a cassette copy, but now I have it on CD, and it really feels good to have it on a real format. And also a double album by George Michael, a compilation 25 that I got for a pretty cheap price. I think I have a compilation before, but this one also contains some Wham tracks along with some more modern stuff that I don't have, so interesting to have it only for that. So, and finally some vinyl albums. No, not finally. I have one CD thing left. This month's crown jewel. The one that I got most happy about finding. Take a look at this box set by Swedish rock and blues group Wilmer X. And the album and box called Arkiv X. X-Files. Containing 4 CDs. This book containing an interview with the band. Have here CD containing never before released outtakes and so on. Hard to get this one out. Take this one out. It's easier. Even if I can even get it out here, how the hell am I supposed to listen to this thing? So, more see here. 4 CD box sets containing all their hits and more, plus these outtakes. So I paid only about, I think I paid only $4 for this one. So I'm extremely happy for it. So now we'll move on to the vinyl singles, my vinyl full-length albums. First of all, Jarreau, Breaking Away from 1981, produced by one of my favorites, pop soul producers from the early 80s, Jay Graydon. Really smooth producer, always does some slick and very relaxing production. So this is a great album, really relaxing. It only has one, I listened to this one actually, and it has only one down thing. Is that for some reason they have to make an own version of Rondo à la Turque. So normally it is a Dave Brubeck song that I've done, but I think that in this version with Al Jarreau it sounds pretty horrible. So that one is the only down thing. But the rest of the album is really relaxing. Highly recommended. Pia Zadora, not all that familiar with her music, but I saw that this one was produced by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and then of course I bought it because then Jimmy Jam and Lewis are real proof of that this album will most likely be a really funky and great 80s soul album. This one is from 1988. Paul Simon, Rhythm of the Saints from 1990, recorded in Rio de Janeiro with Brazilian musicians, so this one is going to be very interesting to listen to. Having here an interesting collaboration. The Supremes and Four Tops, two of the most iconic soul bands from Motown, in one album, The Return of the Magnificent Seven. Very interesting to hear what these two iconic bands have actually been doing together. This one is from 1971. Here we have some 80s synth pop, I think. Kissing the Pink, I only have one single with them, and that one is really good. So I took a chance of buying the album Naked from 1983. But I think that Kissing the Pink is a synth pop band, so it's going to be very interesting. More 10cc, starting to have a pretty good 10cc collection by now. This is a self-titled album from 1973, containing Rubber Bullets and Donna. But I gotta say, this cover sleeve is definitely not the best I've done. I think this cover sleeve is pretty horrible. But hopefully the music is better. Swedish Hammond organ player Willard Ringstrand, also a big band leader and so on, but he's most famous as a Hammond organ player. On the Sunny Side of the Street, great for my Hammond organ collection. Real special one. This one, I listened to this one, is really good, really relaxing Hammond organ music, but are really old recordings for Hammond organ style. It's recordings from 1947 and 1955, and you can barely hear that they managed to do well translation from old 78s over to vinyl, because you can barely hear that these are recordings from the 40s and mid-50s. And a jazz album, believe it or not, and this is also kind of a blind buy. I have no idea what I'm getting myself into, but it looked interesting because some of the names and looked like a 50s release. Flute Suite by A.K. Salim. As I said, I have no idea what I'm getting into, but it contains, among others, Herbie Mann and Hank Jones, so it should be very interesting. Savoy release. And finally, an album that I thought that this would be my... Finally, I found this year's Jimmy Smith finding. but turned out that it was a duplicate that I have with this one already, fortunately. So I guess I would give it away in some direction. Interesting when you look at these Jimmy Smith collection that there is some songs that they for some reason have to have on each and every Jimmy Smith album, like this one, I've Got My Mojo Working and The Creeper and so on. Interesting here is that here they say that they would have John Brown's Body, but that one does not say on the back side, and it's not said on the album, and John Brown's Body is not included. So interesting, wrong typing on the sleeve. So that was my April. Hope that May will be very interesting. Starting to come to this season of spring where people are doing their cleaning in garages and in cellars and so on, and hopefully that will bring out some to give away some records to flea markets and thrift stores around here. So with that, I'm going to come back pretty soon because there are a lot of contests and threads going on that I'm going to give some responses to. So with that, I hope that each and every one of you have a really nice continuing of the week. Happy Walpurgis night to all of you who celebrate that. And take care. Bye-bye.